Hello, beautiful team. I wanted to do a video for you guys as sort of a training for the new teas we're getting. I find sometimes when I type everything out into the Facebook group, it's too much information and it's probably really hard to kind of process it all. So I wanted to just maybe start sending videos that are to be referenced when you need to and hopefully easier to follow. You can kind of stop and start it when you want and learn about stuff in kind of a new way. So the teas we get at the cafe are super special. They're from Genuine Tea, which is a company based out of Toronto. Similar to our coffee, these people have visited the farms the tea is grown and have built relationships with the farmers. It's more than fair trade. Fair trade is more of a buzzword. This is more like these farmers are getting paid a living wage. This tea is being selected by our tea sommelier, which is Sarah out of Genuine Tea. And basically a lot of them are just not micro lots, but single origin. So they're not blending a whole bunch of tea leaves together to kind of create something that tastes decent. They're not adding a whole bunch of weird flavors into there to try to mask the fact that the tea itself isn't good quality. Places like David's Tea do this. So they get big batches from different places in the world that aren't necessarily quality, and they try to make it taste decent by adding artificial flavors and other things to them. This tea doesn't do that. It's good stuff. Obviously, there's some stuff that's added to, say, the masala chai, but that's because it's meant to be added to it. So when you're selling tea to our customers, it's really important to kind of know about the tea. There's a tea menu at the cafe, and it tells you the tasting notes of each tea we have, what temperature the water should be. This might be a little what's the word? Redundant. You may already know this, but for example, our black tea is the hottest water setting. Green tea, you don't want to use boiling water on it because it's going to make the tea taste very bitter. Same thing with the white tea that we're going to be getting. Herbal tea can be super hot. It can handle it because it's not actual tea in our herbal blends. It's just usually herbs and spices, and rooibos is a plant, but it's not considered a tea. When we're talking about tea, we're talking about the tea plant. Obviously there's different varieties, but for example, the way it's processed, so for matcha tea, the entire thing is ground up. The entire plant is ground up into a powder. But for like green and black tea, they're green and black tea because of the way it's processed. So it's all coming from the same type of tea plant, but it's just the process that makes it different and special. Another thing about tea is the steeping times. So it's not something we usually tell our customer, but when they're having a tea to go, it's actually really important to maybe let them know, like, hey, that green tea should be steeped for about 3 minutes. It makes us look knowledgeable. It makes us care about, it doesn't make us care, but it shows that we are taking tea seriously. So green tea shouldn't steep for more than 3 minutes. A lot of teas can be re-steeped, but you should really be taking the tea bag out so you don't get that bitterness. If you ever have a green tea, such as the Sakura Rose or the Sencha, and you do it with the proper water temperature and the proper steeping time, it is just so different than probably any tea you'll have at Tim Hortons or anywhere else. It's actually just stunning, like the flavors, if done properly. So we want to make sure we're doing it properly, or at least educating our guests on how to do it properly. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place here because I don't get a lot of time to talk to you guys, and these are all things I kind of hold inside and things I've worked on since we opened the cafe. And it's all in the training manual, but I know it's like, that training manual is pretty big, so I doubt that you guys have had time to really take it all in. Okay, so with the new tea menu, there's going to be different pricing structures. As it stands now, our loose leaf tea is $2.95 a cup. That's for 1 teaspoon of tea, whether it's in a 12 ounce or a 16 ounce. And the herbal tea is $2.50 for 1 teaspoon. The matcha is 1/4 teaspoon and 1/2 teaspoon for different sizes of cup, and that's different pricing. But, and this might make more sense when I actually send you the tea menu. There's gonna be a little plus sign and then the amount that the tea costs more than the base amount. For example, the Darjeeling tea is gonna cost 50 cents more than our loose leaf tea. So that's gonna be $3.50 a cup. The white tea, the Silver Needle, is like the best tea, the healthiest. The reason white tea is the healthiest, has the highest caffeine, is just the most antioxidants, is because it's taken from the tip of the tea leaf. So kind of like all the nutrient is in that part of the leaf. And it's actually a super, like, I'm going to give you more detail on it, but it's a super awesome tea and it's premium, and that is 75 cents more. So in the system, in the Touch Bistro, I'm going to make sure that when you press tea, the ones that are more are going to pop up. And then so you'll remember, oh, this is Darjeeling, that's 50 cents more. I'll say Darjeeling. This is milk oolong, that's 50 cents more. It's just a way to get some really good premium teas in our cafe and still being able to make some money. So I just want to talk to you briefly about the new teas we're getting. So the Darjeeling First Flush is known as the champagne of teas. This high mountain First Flush Darjeeling has an incredibly complex flavor profile that seems to evolve from sip to sip. Grown in the high elevations of the Himalayan hill region, this tea drinks more like a partially oxidized oolong rather than a black tea. It has strong notes of melon, grapes, and pear. This is the highest grade of tea in India. It's known in the tea world as FTG-FOP1, which stands for Finest Tippy Golden Flowery Orange Pekoe, although some tea connoisseurs joke that it stands for Far Too Good for Ordinary People. The first flush or spring harvest is considered the finest of all the harvests, as the leaves are still young, very flavorful, and incredibly nutrient rich. Darjeeling is well known for its small and gentle leaves, as it comes from a Camellia sinensis varietal rather than the more common Camellia sinensis, whatever, the tea leaf. Darjeeling tea cultivation has a relatively short history and only began when civil surgeon Arthur Campbell began planting some Chinese tea seeds in 1841. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, lots of information on all these teas on the Genuine Tea website. Like I said, I'm only going to go through the ones that we're getting new. Silver Needle, this is like the really expensive one. It's not that expensive. It's just way more than any of the other teas. Harvested in the spring in Yunnan province, this tea consists of beautiful buds covered in a silvery down. Also known as Bai Hao Yin Zhen, this is one of the most prized teas in the world. And we're going to have that in the cafe. The buds are plucked and placed in shallow bamboo baskets and dried in sun. This quick drying process allows for very little oxidation. Silver Needle has beautifully complex notes of chamomile and peach and can be re-steeped multiple times. That's a really great tidbit to let our guests know. For the best experience, use the perfect temperature of water, about 6 to 8 ounces of water. So if someone is asking for a large Silver Needle tea, you might say it's actually best in 8 ounces of water. Tasting notes are honeysuckle, grape, and peach, and the temperature is 75 Celsius. So our tea tower will do all that stuff for you. And it's always important to pour the tea directly onto the tea leaves. So you might be familiar with Genmaicha, I don't know how to say it. This is being added to our green tea menu, and it's not more expensive, but it's just another tea. This lightly grassy summer harvest organic sencha is green tea, has been blended with roasted brown rice, providing a savory, nutty profile that is delightfully thirst quenching. And then it goes into the legends of it. So the tasting notes are pine nuts, rice, cut grass, It's really toasty, it's delicious. Spencer and I have had many genmaichas before. So we just think it's an obvious addition to our menu. We're getting a milk oolong. This is gonna be part of our seasonal section. So I'm gonna talk a bit about our seasonal section. We're gonna have our regular menu, which has what it has already. And I can't believe this is already 10 minutes long. Can you imagine me writing all this out? So our tea menu has our Assam breakfast, Earl Grey, Darjeeling, masala chai as our blacks. The greens are the genmaicha, sakura rose, sencha kyoto, matcha. White, silver needle. Then we have our herbal blends, which is the chamomile lemongrass, elderberry hibiscus, evergreen peppermint. We're gonna have a new addition, lemon ginger rooibos, and then we're gonna secure the vanilla almond rooibos. Then we're gonna have a section on our menu that's seasonal. These are 2 or 3 teas that I'm gonna change probably twice a year. So for the summer ones, I'm gonna include a milk oolong, which is a little more expensive. It's 50 cents more, and a blueberry white peony. So the milk oolong comes from the yin yang, I'm probably pronouncing these words completely wrong. It's grown in Taiwan. It has a beautiful floral aroma with a smooth milky taste. Legend has it the moon saw a comet fly. I'm not gonna get you all hung up on the legends. Or maybe it's cool. Okay, I'm gonna review the legend because again, something really awesome to share with our guests. Legend has it the moon saw a comet flying through the night sky. The moon quickly fell in love with the beauty and elegance of the comet. However, the comet met upon a cruel fate as it entered the Earth's atmosphere. The moon became very upset, and in her sadness, she blew a cool wind through the mountains over the tea fields. When a tea farmer awoke the next day, he found that the cool wind had created a sweet, milky flavor in the tea leaves. And so milk oolong was born. Milk oolong is a favorite among tea enthusiasts. It can be steeped multiple times, and the full hand-rolled leaves unfurl fully in your cup. So it has a really cool look when it's kind of like all curled up, and then when you pour the water over it, it just like kind of blossoms like a flower, which will kind of be hard to see in a tea bag, but whatever. The tasting notes are orchid, apple, and cream. So a really nice summer tea. And then I'll tell you about the blueberry white peony. White teas are the least processed of all the tea types. They are simply picked and withered in natural sunlight, then briefly pilled and baked to ensure that the moisture is removed. Pilled or piled, I'm not sure. This step prevents any further oxidation and enzyme activity. Our blueberry white peony is made from the delicate and grassy Bai Mudan, aka white peony, from the Fujian province. It's hand blended in Toronto with blueberry, currants, elderberries, and a hibiscus to create a lightly sweet and refreshing flavor profile. This one's great iced. If people are buying retail bags, you can say they can ice it. We're not gonna add another iced tea to our menu, it's too much. Tasting notes, blueberry, apple, hibiscus. Something you're gonna notice on the tea menu is some of them are in green. This is so that when someone asks, what are your iced teas? You can say all the ones on the menu that are green are iced. It's just a great way to save you the hassle of going through them all every time. Okay, I think that's everything for now. These teas are ordered. They should be here next week. Canisters for them are coming next week. We won't have retail bags yet. Keep an eye out for my Facebook, Instagram posts because I'm going to probably share some of these profiles for the teas, and so it might just help refresh your memory. And I think I said everything I need to say. Treat this like a training video and just kind of watch it as you can and try to remember. Maybe, I don't know, are you taking notes? But if you aren't taking notes, that's okay. But we do really want you to know about our teas so that you can feel confident in helping the customer make a good choice. You can kind of decipher, like, if they aren't sure what they want, you can be able to guide them into something that they're actually going to truly enjoy and not just kind of guess, like, oh, you feel like something spicy with not a lot of caffeine? Yeah, I don't know. Well, the masala chai is a great choice because it does have spices in it, which means there's less tea, which means there's less caffeine. Oh, I'm looking for something really delicate tasting with a high caffeine content. Oh, that's the silver needle. It has the highest amount of caffeine as any of the other teas because it's the least processed and it has a very nice, calm, subtle flavor. Things like that. So it's about being order creators instead of order makers sometimes. I learned that when I was in the restaurant industry. Menu knowledge is key. Knowing where our coffees are roasted and the profiles. Like, what if someone doesn't know the difference between Shop Bike and Coastal, the medium, the dark roast? Maybe they don't know the Urban Hillbilly Espresso is a variety of 6 to 8 different beans. Espresso blends are always a variety of different beans. They shouldn't be single origin because espresso has multiple layers of flavors. So when you want single origin beans, that's usually when it comes with your drip coffee. You don't want to mix a whole bunch of stuff there. You want the bean to stand out. But with espresso, you have more complexities. Now I'm getting off track. Okay, and we also are launching oatmeal very soon. This is a barista front of house kind of job because it's going to contain froth milk, pre-portioned cups. So portioning off the cups, I'm sure you can all kind of help each other out and do. I would probably do maybe 5 to 10 a day, depending on the day. We'll get a feel for that. You add some froth milk. I did videos on how to do this. So again, I will post those when we're ready. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. We are so grateful for our team. We're going to be adding some new members to it, hopefully soon as it's getting busier. And we really appreciate you guys so much. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask me. I love talking about this stuff. I love tea. I love talking about it. And again, genuinetea.ca has all the teas that we have. And the new tea menu should be coming soon. It's going to be on its own board. And I'm also, I don't know if I mentioned this, Genuine Tea is creating another one of those detailed ones that we have for the tasting notes. Probably hang it off the wall so people can see more information on the teas before they order. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry this is so long. I hope that you have the patience to, or the time to really get through this. If not, maybe I could send you Cole's notes. All right, bye guys.